That's also a big tragedy that you have the war in Ukraine. In my symphony number 18, it tells something about this. It's begins quite militaristic. Tan, 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 tan. We have it's my comment to the Ukraine war and about the militarism of today. Not only, but the same is also Israel and Palestine thing, the same tragedy. I don't understand the politics of Israel at all now, and the militarism and so. But in my symphony number 8, it's comment, political comment also about it, without words. It's big tragedy. Why do you have that kind of thought? I'm not afraid in Finland about Russia. No, they have no sense to come to Finland and Russia. No. But why they came to Ukraine? Ukraine was before part of Russia, but it was the reason. I had against those wars without reason, so I composed a symphony. Use elements. It sounds really militaristic, but it's against militarism, of course. It was a very big success, the 18th Symphony. Standing ovations and so. I should play in Japan also, the number 18. It's not very difficult for orchestra. It's easier than many of my pieces. And the orchestra size is not too big. Only 2 percussionists, for example, lasts 37 minutes and then 18 symphony. Four movements. It is quite cool. Yeah. I have also before that, for example, in my opera Insect Life, it's also comment about our world, the whole opera. Insects are symbolizing the different kind of people. Maybe in the 5th Symphony also, older pieces. It was written during the Cold War, and it ends with a catastrophe. I have used also, given my comments what was happening in the world, my music. Not in every piece, but in some pieces. Music has to communicate, of course. It's very important thing that music must communicate. Especially now when I am writing this new piece, I hope it communicates with the Japan audience, but also with the Western audience. But especially here in Japan, they hear something which is familiar with their tradition. So it communicates and it gives hope for the audience. If the audience hears music that communicates, they think that there are possibilities in the world, and also in the world of today, you can create something important and beautiful. I think it gives hope to the audience. The contents can be pessimistic. For example, with the 18th Symphony, it's not so optimistic piece, but I hope that people begin to think about our world and where we are living, and this has also some beautiful things in them, and so at the time it gives hope, but then they think the world is a dangerous place today. Bad things are happening everywhere in the world, and how to react, what to do, to get people thinking also. Yes, when I was 10 years old, I began to play violin, and immediately I started to compose. First, for violin only, we had not a piano at home. And then when I was 15 years old, then my parents bought a piano later, but I composed only first for violin, then I composed. I had to imagine how the other voices are going because I couldn't play everything. I composed also for piano without that we had piano, but I had to imagine how it should go. And I had no that time I just as models were what I heard on radio and what I played myself, because I lived in very small city, Forssa. There was no composition teaching at all. I composed even 2 string quartets, 1 string quintet, and 1 orchestral piece, and so quite many pieces, 200 pieces, smaller and bigger when I was a schoolboy. And then after that I took Sibelius Academy. I was 19. Then I began to study composition by Eino-Johanne Rautavaara. It was the school time compositions, yeah, very young. Without studying composition. It was tonal music. Yeah. In some preludes, I tried to compose also in polyphonic style and full fugatos there, and then I started immediately to modern harmony and modern counterpoint by Rautavaara, because Rautavaara thought I can write already for the classical style. Not anymore necessary to study it again at Sibelius Academy. He was, for me, a very good teacher. He was not authoritative at all. And he first asked what I wanted to say with my music. And I had to tell what I wanted to say with the piece, and then he criticized from my starting points, not from his own starting points. And then he thought, no, if I have wanted to written that language, maybe I used to put it better. And so it, in that sense, it was very good. And every of his compositions, they had an own different style, not the style of the teacher. And it's also good. There are also teachers who wanted the composers, the students compose as the teacher does. Paavo Hynninen was for Finland. He gave the same method for every student. Maybe it suits when the student doesn't know how to compose. then the teacher says you compose and place, and then when you have enough composed, then you can forget it. But it's not so easy to forget. But Rautavaara was different. Also Boris Blacher. I was by Boris Blacher in Berlin. His students had totally different styles, and he criticized only from the starting points of the student. I composed in Berlin my Symphony No. 4. The 2 first movements I composed in Berlin, and the last movements later in Finland. Piano is a good instrument, but there are so many good piano pieces in the world. I prefer instruments, other instruments, therefore, because also I haven't written too much for violin, because also there are so many violin pieces, very good violin pieces in the world. But now I really like to compose, because now you have to find a new relationship to violin if you combine with the capo. And of course, I have to, next spring, I should compose a big piano piece for Alexandra Kantorova, the French pianist, Alexandra Kantorova. Yeah, to be premiered at the Lucerne Piano Festival. But piano is difficult because so much piano music, and how to compose. Yeah, you can find a new techniques for piano. I think it's almost impossible. So, but the only thing you must write music which has substance, substance. Not try to find a new piano techniques. Also, it helps if you're a good pianist. So I am very bad pianist, but of course I studied when I composed, for example, my first piano sonata, first piano concerto. Then I studied works by Liszt and Messiaen and Debussy, and to know what's possible, how it's This is possible, which not. Yeah, it begins with a quotation from Homer Clavier Sonata. Cantaratata. But then it goes to other direction. I am not sure if I've read for Accent the Cantor for third piano sonata or if it has another title. Now, in 2 weeks, Isu Tatano plays my piece, Seichaku no Usu, for left hand. It's also a little bit meditative at the beginning, but it goes also very fast in the middle of the piece. I composed for Izumi also piano quintet, string quartet, piano and string quartet. It's called Mysterium. Mysterium. I use a little bit influences from Scriabin. From my last piece by Scriabin, it was unfinished piece, Mysterium. I read sketches and I took some chords by Scriabin and began wrote my own piece. It's maybe also to find new relationships to piano. To use that of harmonies as a starting point. And as I had that was Beethoven, Cantarata, and that starting point of the Beethovenian style or approach, Beethovenian approach. In the first piano sonata, it's my own approach. How complicated music, how technically difficult I can write. The first piano sonata is very difficult, technically. It's possible, but it's very difficult. Yeah. I think that Japanese and Finnish culture, they have something in common. The Japanese way of thinking is something familiar with the Finnish way of thinking. It's totally different culture, but something in common in both cultures. And also Japanese, for example, if you think about the film by Miyazaki, very popular in Finland, Hayao Miyazaki, or Haruki Murakami, and those very popular. And so it's something. Japanese composers are not so well known in Finland. I can hear Takemitsu, but not often. Not often. It's a different culture, but something in the spirit is same. I think the relations to nature, relations to nature, they have something the same. Especially in the old shamanistic culture, the relation to the nature is same here. As I seen by relation to nature. It's of course very fine thing that we have that kind of society. Japan Finnish and have concerts with Finnish music there. It's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that you have that kind of society and it helps. Yeah, I'm very glad. I have heard also the Finnish instrument kantele is now popular in, not very popular, but many people are playing kantele in Japan. My kantele concert was premiered last year, last August, 38 strings. And it's also only 4 strings. Kantele string has one percussionist. One percussionist is the kantele strings. Do you know the music by Henrik Nordgren, Finnish composer Nordgren? Yeah, he has a lot of Japanese influences, many pieces. His concerto for autumnal concerto for 4 Japanese instruments and orchestra is a very good piece, but very seldom played, and we have no recording of it. It's a very good piece. It's Koto Shamishin, Sakuhatsu, and what's some 4th. Yes, he has also quartet for that in ensemble. Then he has used Japanese mythology in his piano pieces, Kaidan pieces. And his wife was Japanese. His 6th symphony was premiered in Japan, in Sendai. It's for choir and 2 solists and orchestra. It's choir symphony. Yes, of course. I have been asked to write next concert for Heckelphone and orchestra. Heckelphone concerto. It's a Heckelphone is a Finnish national opera. She is Australian lady who plays Heckelphone or bass oboe in the Finnish. And she asked me to write a Heckelphone concerto. Maybe I will write it next year. I don't think about other composers when I compose my Kakako piece. I think about the Kakako narration more. And it must have also some modal elements, not totally chromatic, this Kakako piece. It's interesting when you pentatonic scales in the music, but it doesn't sound pentatonic at all. So because we have the clusters in shows and so that kind of it's but yeah. One younger Finnish composer, Juha T. Koskinen, he has been here, and Ari Romppanen also. Juha T. Koskinen has lived here. He lived here, taught somewhere here. He was my student at the Swedish Academy. When I was teaching composition, Juha was my student. Yeah. I would like to see more about Japan. I have been only in Tokyo. See also Kyoto and Hokkaido and southern part of the country, but maybe next time. When we have the premiere of the Kakako piece, then maybe I reserve 1 week time and travel around Japan.